Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Anyegolu. Now let's continue our look through that open window at 2 years of the Tinubu administration. Halfway through his first presidential term, the middle-of-the-road assessment from a coterie of independent analysts appears to be something hovering around a C grade, with big ideas and a bold vision at the outset, a small number of successes, small steps in the right direction, a considerable number of missteps, and plenty still to prove. On the political front, he's been attacked over his actions in River State, the declaration of a state of emergency there, as well as what many believe to be moves to consolidate a one-party state, and all those igniting fierce debate over the scope of the president's executive powers. Meanwhile, he's managed to keep his opposition opponents on their heels with a stupendous flurry of defections. So how much has Mr. Tinubu become a threat to the very democracy he swore to nurture and protect? Well, for their perspectives on President Tinubu's midterm scorecard, I'm joined now in the studio by the political commentator, former Edo State Commissioner of Information and former Edo State governorship aspirant, Prince Kasim Afegbua, who is a leading member of the ruling APC, and by the National Secretary of the Coalition of United Parties, or CUPP, Chief Peter Ameh, who is a former presidential candidate and is a chieftain of the opposition Labour Party. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Charles.
Let me start with you, Prince. What sort of impact has President Tinubu had during his first 2 years in office? Quite an impact, for good or for bad, or very little impact?
Well, very good impact, because following the president's speech yesterday, he did make the point that it is not yet Uhuru. And he thanked Nigeria for their patience, understanding with him that he needed to take very hard decisions, decisions that people shied away from before now, and he is happy that those decisions are coming to fruition, and there's some level of stability in the economy of the country. There's still much left to be done in terms of improving all the optics, but essentially, we have seen his determination and commitment to confront the problems, staring us in the face with equanimity of purpose. And that is the hallmark of very sound leadership when it comes to tackling issues or challenges confronting the nation.
Mr. Ameh, Chief Ameh, I should say, let me come to you. Coming off the back of what Prince Afegbua is saying, I mean, we saw an article that was, many people thought was very balanced in the Financial Times just recently. Many international analysts who have no stake in Nigeria, but who are good economic assessors, are saying that Mr. Tinubu has managed to remove the structural, or at least tackle the structural distortions that were hamstringing Nigeria's economy. Do you agree with that assessment?
No, I don't. When you look at the liberal economic principles and policies that eventually affect the downtrodden, you know that these are not the kind of policy that we should be pushing, because every other thing has to have a plan, and you have to have a well-planned process for whatever policy that you are initiating. Is it that the members of the APC lives in an alternate universe, or they are too scared to face the reality that the Nigerian people are facing? Because I do not want to go into statistics and try to look at bogus figures that does not really reflect the current sufferings on the street of this country. If you want to know that in the last 2 years, the president has worsened our economic progress. He has destroyed everything he met on ground. Let me tell you one thing. At the time the president came, a liter of fuel was 197 naira. It's about 1,000 today.
Yeah, and that's because he removed the subsidy.
Because he removed the fuel subsidy without plan, without policy direction.
Yeah.
It was an impromptu decision that was not well thought out, because you need to have a policy, then you need to have a plan and how to cushion the effect of those policies removal. So you have a situation when the president came in, because if you have a robust manifesto when you are coming into office, you have step-by-step process of how to implement this manifesto. There was no step-by-step process. It's just like every other policy statement that the president have made, and none of them have been seen through. When the president said he was going to, till 500,000 hectares of land across Nigeria, none of that he has done. So if you can't be living on the whims and caprices of the president's statement. Every time he wakes up, he says one thing, and we need to follow, and we remain hopeful. The system, the economic system today, the ordinary masses in the street are not seeing any improvement. They are suffering for the high transportation costs as a result of the fuel subsidy removal. That transportation cost is also affecting goods and services, because the transport is a connecting network that to tell you how much the number of goods you are bringing, the services that are coming to your site. So these are affected the whole entire structure of governance in this country, both economic and politically. So they are creating an alternative universe, and they know that Nigerians are not feeling it, because if government is working, in 2 years, Nigerians will be on the street.
Okay, let me come to you, Prince, because I can see you're chuckling away there. Clearly, coming off the back of what Chief Ameh is saying, Nigerians have not been born into a glorious new dawn, sort of full of promise and renewed hope, like you suggested. I mean, the economists may be sitting in their offices and saying, okay, well, this is a good way to do this and that, and you've kind of put some new, balance to this and that and so on. But when you come to think of it, in the real world, which is what Chief Ameh is saying, people are trapped in worsening insecurity, deepening poverty, collapsing infrastructure. Electricity is still bad. Poverty is getting worse. What's your reaction to that?
It will be suicidal for you to make such a generous conclusion on the points you raise. You see, I am not going to be surprised if Ameh didn't speak in this manner, because typical of Nigerian opposition, they know how to grandstand, but address the critical issues based on alternative viewpoints. It becomes a problem for them. And I'm still searching for their alternative policy formation in terms of even suggestions or ideas that can help deepen conversation around governance in this country.
Yeah, but they're not the ones in power. You're the ones in power. It's you whose 2 years are being examined.
Charles, they are part and parcel of the Nigerian system, and if they have the interests of the people at heart, they should be telling government or other institutions of government that this policy would have been better and all of that, because government naturally...
Well, they have, in fairness to them, and I don't mean to interrupt you, they've made the point consistently that the issue is not the removal of subsidy. The issue is the way that you removed it.
Please.
You could have staggered it. You could have made it less problematic for people, whilst you found ways to cushion it.
Charles, that's a matter...
They have made that suggestion.
You see, that is a matter of opinion from those who do not understand the workings of government. Let me tell you, we must commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for taking that bold decision from the first day of being sworn into this office, into the office. Don't forget that Peter Obi, the candidate of his party, talked about immediate removal of subsidy when he was campaigning, except he never meant it. Atiku Abubakar, PDP, talked about immediate removal of subsidy, except they didn't mean it. Now, if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken the bull by the horn by dropping subsidy and ensuring that we confront the problems thereafter, it means that he wants to put the hardest of decisions in the front burner, so that one way or the other he could profile solutions to it. Now, if he has waited for 2 months, 3 months, all the economic predators and buccaneers who were feasting on subsidy will have derailed the entire process, and perhaps he will still be genuflecting in terms of taking the right decision on the issue of subsidy. Now, more money. I want opposition, politicians and those who are preparing to think that they want to come and preside over the country, to be interrogating the resources that are accruing to the states. because we now have more allocation being given to the state.
In fairness to you,
yes,
that's a good point.
Yes, and in that way, we want to see what these monies are translating to, because it's a tripartite arrangement: the federal government, the state, and the local government.
Yeah.
And so that way, we will be able to do some level of collaboration and cooperative system that will encourage and ensure that life becomes better for the
But the fact
person.
remains
Yes.
that you're the people in power. It is also, you have the power of the government, you have the power to regulate things, you have the executive power with the police and everything to be a check and balance on any excesses in the country. So it actually falls on you to do those
Charles,
primarily.
let me tell you something. You know, the problem that somebody was discussing with me today and said, Nigeria has failed. I said, no, it is not the country that has failed. It is Nigerians who are in the country, because we need serious attitudinal reorientation of minds amongst us. And people
yeah, but
like,
why aren't
I'm
you
coming,
doing that?
I'm
You're
coming,
the one
and people,
in power.
no, wait. And people like him, they should do things that will add value to what government is doing. Not necessarily just criticizing for the sake of criticism.
Right. Okay.
If you carry out constructive criticism, constructive engagement, collective bargaining, yes, I will see meaning in that. But when you blanket, give a blanket condemnation,
right,
it becomes a problem.
Okay.
And this same subsidy issue has given rise to CNG vehicles. There are electric vehicles now as we speak, and so infrastructure in terms of road construction has deepened, train transportation and all of that. So if all of this come to materialize at the end of the day, given their timeline, then life will become better for the ordinary person.
Indeed. And let me put that to you, Chief Ameh, because in addition to the things that he has said, inflation appears to be stabilizing. Prices appear, and I emphasize the word appear,
yes,
to be coming down. Food prices appear to be coming down. Petrol is now said to be below 900 naira per litre, when it was much higher than that. Yeah. Are you doubting what they're saying? Are you having problems with those statistics, or you disagree with them?
I disagree with him in a lot of statements he has made. He has tried all the best to try to blame the opposition. There's no candidate in this country. Let me tell you something. If you go to just Twitter handle of Peter Obi, there's enough advice for people in government. You know that there's enough advice when it comes to how to use the arable land we have to invest in farming and take away the level of poverty that our country are currently facing. There's enough advice coming for him. Look, the current opposition that we're playing is a position played by sense. But whatever statistics they are put before you, as the dropping of stable food, which I found very funny when the president actually listed that part of his achievement, it's very embarrassing. As I'm talking to you, our borders have been opened up to bring in rice from Thailand and all other countries, now affecting the local farmers.
Actually, that's a good point.
And it's going to destroy local farmers.
Because we had somebody who represents 30,000 farmers who came in here and made the point that you're making now. All they are trying to do is,
of course, cheap political point that stable food has dropped. And you are importing and destroying local economy. And you look at the road of the coastal highway to Calabar, it's only 4.3% of that road has been done, which is about 30 kilometers. How are you going to do the next 670 kilometers? That is going to take 23.5 years to complete if we have to do it every 2 years. So we have a government, nothing has changed. If you are looking at other statistics, what is the human perception index? What is the corruption perception index? Corruption perception index today is 146 over 180. The human performance index is about 161 to 189. None of this data is reflecting the reality that he's talking about. Nigerians are suffering. The day the president removed fuel subsidy, the price of transportation jumped over 300%. I have people working with me who earn 100,000 naira, who earn 70,000 naira. Today that money is useless to them. Because if you live in Suleja, if you live in Masaka and you come to Central Area to work, you can no longer benefit anything except you are sleeping in your workplace. A lot of Nigerians are going through that, and they don't have the authority and to be able to advise the president that things have gone bad. Right. And they are busy trying to make the president feel that it's working. Whatever the presidents have listed, they're just an issue of item.
Okay,
anybody can list anything.
Let me get you to react to that before we move on to something else.
Thank you very much. On a lighter note, even saying Ameh and myself, you know that the opposition are the one enjoying more than myself.
What exactly are you referring to?
No, look at our sizes. But when they shout like this, they still go around the system and they make some.
Well, that's not fair.
But let me make the point. No,
Yeah,
let me
you-
make
you-
the point.
you- you don't- it's not fair to say.
Years I have never romanced with government in power.
Wait,
He knows.
let me.
I put it on
let me-
record.
Well, let him
me
make his
my
point, yeah.
Let me make my point. You see, when you are confronted with economic problems, you look for solutions. And one of them is even looking for how to build more infrastructure. And when you talk about the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, I'm shocked that a man with your mindset and with your orientation will even complain about that. What you should be thinking is, will Mr. President be able to finish this economic road, 750 kilometers? We'll rather encourage him to finish it in record time. If it takes 6 years or 7 years of his administration to finish it, it will add value to our economic well-being. And as we speak now, thousands of artisans are working on site. Thousands of skilled laborers and unskilled laborers, all of them, they are working. And they're taking home something at the end of the day to improve their well-being. So it is very convenient for the opposition to just criticize for criticism's sake. Oh, Lagos Coastal Road. If you don't venture into it, who will venture into it? Eco-Atlantic, that was what they said when the man was trying to arrest the drift of the ocean into Victoria Island. He was going to swallow it up. And the man took the bull by the horn and ensured that he was able to arrest that drift. And today, Eco-Atlantic is almost like, an El Dorado kind of, in terms of property, in terms of even the layout, in terms of environmental, stability. So for me, you may criticize, but please also look at the economic value in every government policy. I am not going to sit down here and you tell me I should condemn Lagos Calabar Coastal Road. I want that road to be completed in record time. And I will celebrate it to high heavens that there's a government who was able to produce 750 kilometers of road, dual carriageway from Lagos to Calabar. If you are waiting for airtime, you can enter that road 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah. Most people would be happy to have that road built.
So,
but
but
as long as all the other roads in Nigeria are also
we are
all
at
on
46,000 square kilometers of federal roads. None of them is working.
For me to look,
no, majority of them are
that is not true.
They are in deplorable conditions.
People are traveling every day.
Let me just land. They're in deplorable conditions. Let me tell you about Lagos Calabar Coastal Way.
In fairness, Dave Umahi, who's the Minister of Works, is doing a heck of a lot of work.
We've
seen the documents.
It was on arrest.
I can tell you the roads that have problem on this station. I don't fly.
No, they still have problems.
Of course.
But they obviously they're working on it.
Thank you.
Let me not lose my point. You talk about Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. The problem is that how was that budget appropriated? Was it through the National Assembly? That budget is done in secrecy, without transparency, without accountability. There was no even economic impact assessment done on those projects. And these are facts. These are things you can confirm from anywhere. We can't be running government that is supposed to be open, an open government that we are preached so that we can curb corruption. And that's why our corruption perception index is still very high. Because you can't have a government who comes and says it's going to do 700 kilometers of coastal highway. We don't know what the budget is like. The National Assembly have not sat on it and appropriated, which is even against our laws, our constitutional process for approving money for projects. Right. No, it's the truth. No. These are facts that are there. No, you cannot tell me that. No, I know when I was asking question about the the impact assessment report that could not be provided. See, let's leave all this and go back to the street and let's ask the common man, how is he faring? Is he faring well?
I can certainly answer that for you. He will say he's not faring well.
He's not faring well. And let me.
But the president himself has admitted that things are not where he wants them to be.
We are beyond that. The man is in the place of authority. He should be proactive and act and best way to be able to resolve this country.
Okay.
Nigerians are
you've
suffering,
spoken quite
and
a bit.
Nigeria needs his attention.
Chief Ameh, let's just very quickly because we have to round up very shortly.
Quickly. Charles, I listened to Umahi today on Arise TV.
Dave Umahi, the
Minister for Works. And when you lack knowledge about a process, it is not out of place for you to ask questions. He said the Lagos-Calabar Highway has 30% buy-in of federal government in terms of resources. 70% belongs to the private handler of that particular road. So, and they gave a reason, a rationale for even conceding that contract to the restrictive bidding of high tech. So, if you don't agree with that, it's understandable.
Okay.
For you to say that there was no procedure or
No, there wasn't-
process-
I have to, anyway, look, we have to move on from this because we've got. We've got.
It doesn't have to be
hold on.
competitive bidding.
It has to
control.
be.
Hold
so that we
on,
can see the
hold
transparency.
on. We've literally got 2 minutes left. Do you see more uncertain times ahead for Nigeria, or do you concede anything that the president said, that we've essentially passed the worst and we're going to start seeing greater benefits in the months and years ahead?
I think it should be beyond words. His actions we should speak louder than what he said.
Well, he said it's going to happen in the next few months.
Because he said that
2
when
years,
he started in
2
May 29,
years.
2023. He hasn't done anything much, and the next it'll be more of politics.
So you're
than
not
on
convinced
politics.
then?
No, I'm not
Okay.
convinced. It has to be more policy
Right.
than politics.
Let me say this to you,
Yes,
Prince.
yes.
Someone described the administration as being, in fairness, a member of the opposition, as being in many ways like a rocking chair. A lot of movement, but it hasn't gone very far. Is that how you see it?
I don't see it that way, because typical of opposition, they are usually prophets of doom. They will never see any light, anything positive, and they think that that is how to play opposition. We agree that opposition is an integral part of the democratic process, but for God's sake, when a government is taking certain actions, you reel out quite a number of statistics here. That is the reality. If Financial Times, who is not involved or that's not involved in whatever that is happening here, is giving, some level of assurances that things will improve better, then we should also celebrate.
Right.
And
Okay.
it is not in our business to continue to downgrade government and rubbish government and all that, because the ultimate beneficiary of whatever actions we carry out are the people.
Okay, we're out of time virtually. Chief Ameh, some analysts have scored including international analysts, have scored the administration a C in the last 2 years. What would you score the administration?
I think the administration hasn't done well.
you say F.
See, look, over 10,000 persons have died.
So
there's
quickly,
even
I
data
just need
from the
your score, and
that
then I've got to
2.2
go.
trillion has been paid.
I need your score. A, B, C, D, E, or F.
Sincerely, this government has failed. I should give them F.
Okay.
I
On that note, I want to
but I'll
thank
give
both
the
of
government
you.
a B.
I want to thank both of you very much
Yes.
indeed. Prince Kasim Afegbua is a political commentator, former Edo State Commissioner of Information, former Edo State governorship aspirant, a leading member of the ruling APC. Chief Peter Ameh is the National Secretary of the Coalition of United Parties, or CUPP, a former presidential candidate, and a chieftain of the opposition Labour Party. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
They've not been able to put their Labour Party together.
That's it.
They want to govern
That's it for
Nigeria.
this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again next week from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.